It was on an ordinary Thursday in New York when I realized I had spent $300 on grocery shopping and did not even have enough food for the week. The cashier smiled like someone who had seen this scene 1,000 times. My refined products were there. The olive oil imported from Italy, the Belgian chocolate, the specialty coffee from Kenya, all in their gleaming packaging. But the essentials were missing. I headed home, carrying heavy bags full of nothing really substantial. A sea of beautiful packaging, colorful promises, and flavors I would soon forget. If you have also felt that shiver down your spine when seeing the total at the checkout and thought, how is this possible? You are not alone. That feeling of emptiness while your bank account empties. By the way, if this video appeared for you, perhaps it is a sign from the universe. If you liked it, be kind. Subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell, and leave your like. Elegance is in the details, including in the simple gesture of giving a like. In my mother's traditional Japanese family, waste was considered an insult to the ancestors. Mottainai, she would say whenever I left food on my plate. This Japanese word has no exact translation, but it carries a deep sense of respect for everything we have been given. It is a concept that goes beyond simple economics. It is a lifestyle that honors every resource. When I returned to Japan at CI, 24 years old after graduating in design from NYU, I observed my maternal grandmother, Akiko, in her small house in Kyoto. Her minimalist kitchen, smaller than many American closets, produced the most memorable meals I have ever tasted. There I understood that true luxury is invisible. It is not in brands or excess, but in the quality of what we choose to keep. 1. The illusion of promotions and large packages. 2 weeks ago, I visited a close friend's house here in Seattle. Kate is a successful executive with a beautiful home. When opening her pantry to show me what she bought on sale, an avalanche of pasta packages fell on us. It was so cheap that I bought 40 packages, she explained, as we picked up the items from the floor. The most interesting part? She lives alone and rarely cooks pasta. In Japan, my grandmother would never buy 40 of anything. She understood that promotions exist to create the illusion of savings while making us buy what we do not need. The supermarket is not selling cheap, because it is kind. It is precisely calculating how much your impulse is worth. When you buy only what you will consume, you save not only money, but also the valuable space in your home and your mind. Remember, storing also costs. Each idle pasta package occupies physical and mental space. 2. The weekly kakebo ritual. In my home, every Friday, I sit with a cup of bancha tea, simple and comforting in my white porcelain without adornments, and practice the traditional kakebo, the Japanese method of household financial control. With traditional washi paper and a fine pen, I plan the meals for the week, check what I have at home, and make a precise list. This 20-minute ritual saves me hours of daily indecision and hundreds of dollars monthly. It seems simple, but how many of us really know what is in our refrigerators at this moment? Yesterday, a colleague from the design studio where I work a few times a week commented that she had thrown away 3 jars of tomatoes that she bought and forgot in the back of the refrigerator. Each jar cost $7, $21 in the trash without even having been opened. When I asked her why she bought so many, she replied, "I thought I needed them." She did not need them. And you probably do not need most of the things you put in your shopping cart either. 3. The elegance of one thing, many uses. Last winter, while it was snowing in Seattle, I hosted a dinner for a friend who works as a fashion editor. She praised the intense and comforting flavor of the soup I served. "What is the secret?" she asked. I showed her what my grandmother called dashi base, a basic broth that I prepare once and use in various ways throughout the week. The foundation of a well-planned meal is like cashmere in fashion, versatile, elegant, and always appropriate. An organic chicken can transform into 4 distinct meals, roasted on the first night, in a salad the next day, in a wrap on the 3rd day, and finally, the bones become a nutritious broth for a soup. This is where culinary minimalism differs from simple economy. It is not just about spending less, but extracting more value from what you already have. The most refined recipes in the world were born from the need to use everything without waste. 4. The art of buying less, but better. I recently visited the apartment of Lauren, a young lawyer who had just moved to Seattle. Her pantry was crammed with products with screaming labels, all proclaiming to be natural, organic, premium. When I opened her refrigerator, I found 12 different types of sauces, most of them half-used, some already expired. "We buy so much and use so little," I delicately commented while she served me water in a crystal glass, the only clean one available. In Japan, we learned that owning less, but of better quality, is not just an aesthetic choice. It is a philosophy of life. A good olive oil, an aged vinegar, a pure sea salt. With 3 excellent ingredients, you can prepare anything. With 30 mediocre ones, you just fill cabinets. My grandfather Takeshi, a master ceramist in Kyoto, used to say, "A single sharp, a knife is worth more than 10 blind ones." He applied this principle to everything, from his work tools to his kitchen utensils. His single iron skillet, blackened from decades of use, produced the most delicious tamagoyaki, Japanese omelet. He would never replace it with a set of new and shiny pans. Yesterday, while reorganizing a client ES kitchen, we found 7 nonstick pans, all scratched and losing their coating. But they were on sale, she justified, as we discarded 6 of them. With the money saved by not buying 6 mediocre pans, she could have invested in a single, exceptionally high-quality one that would last for decades. 5. The eloquent silence of an organized pantry. When I organized a client's pantry last year, a renowned doctor who lived ordering delivery because she did not have time to cook, we found 17 packages of rice, all opened. Some dated back 3 years. "It is as if your pantry were screaming from confusion," I commented, as we emptied everything. She laughed, but her eyes revealed the truth. That mess reflected the internal agitation of her life. Transparent glass jars, discrete labels, food organized by frequency of use. The transformation was not just visual, but functional. 3 months later, she sent me a photo of a risotto she prepared. "For the first time in my life," she wrote proudly, "an organized kitchen is not coldness or obsession. It is respect for food and for oneself. It is the silence necessary for creativity to flourish." 6. The real cost of convenient meals. At the last parent meeting at my son ES school, a mother commented on how the ready-made meals from Whole Foods had saved her life. When I asked how much she spent monthly, she quickly calculated approximately $600 for a family of 3 people just on convenient meals. I did not judge. We all have our priorities. But that amount would be enough to hire a private chef once a week to prepare fresh meals for the entire family. The most ironic part? She worked from home 3 days a week, 5 minutes away from a local farmer's market. The time spent choosing and buying those packaged meals was probably the same it would take to make something simple and fresh. Convenience is rarely convenient when we calculate its real price, in money, in waste produced, in compromised flavor, and in lost opportunities for connection with food. 7. The ceremony of conscious shopping. Every Monday at 7:30 in the morning, I visit the small local farmer's market near my home. There, Mr. Wang already sets aside the best seasonal vegetables for me. At the fish market, Mrs. Miller always suggests the freshest fish. At the bulk natural products store, I buy exactly the amount I need. 100 grams of this, 200 grams of that. Shopping this way is not just more economical, it is more human. It creates connections, supports the local economy, and brings back the natural rhythm of seasonal eating. Last week, I observed a young woman in the supermarket, completely absorbed in her cell phone while randomly piling products in her cart. She was not even looking at what she was buying. That scene deeply saddened me. When we disconnect from the process of choosing our food, we lose an essential part of our humanity. Reflect for a moment. Do you know the face of who grows what you eat? I am not suggesting that we all become farmers, but there is a profound difference between buying an anonymous apple in plastic packaging and choosing a fruit that someone cultivated with dedication, a few kilometers from your home. During the 3 years I lived in Kamakura, my octogenarian neighbor, Mrs. Tanaka, would take me to the local market every Wednesday. She taught me to smell the melon to determine its perfect ripeness, to choose fish by observing the clarity of their eyes, to select the freshest tofu by its subtle aroma. When you buy with full attention, she explained, you are already halfway to an extraordinary meal. Make food shopping a ceremony, not a task. Respect what you buy, and that respect will naturally extend to how you cook and eat. 8. The minimalism that nourishes. When my friend Claire got divorced last year, she found herself alone in a large house with a kitchen equipped to feed a family of 5. I helped her simplify. We donated the excess, keeping only the most versatile and highest quality utensils. I feel less overwhelmed now, she told me as we drank tea in her new cups. Just 2, perfectly identical. I did not know I felt oppressed by the quantity of things until I had less. It is fascinating how simplicity in the kitchen can transform not only our eating habits, but our relationship with time and self-care. Claire now prepares simple meals for herself on beautiful plates, an act of self-love that she never practiced before. 9. The luxury of enough. My dining table has been the same for 15 years. Walnut wood, simple lines, artisanal finish. It cost more than many dining tables, but divide that value by all the memorable dinners it has provided, and the cost per use is minimal. The same goes for my Japanese knife, my cast iron pot, my wine glasses. Each of these items was chosen with care, not impulsively. None needs to be replaced, as they were made to last. In the philosophy of Harahachi Bu, the Okinawans stop, eating when they are 80% satisfied. Apply this principle to your purchases. Have 80% of what you think you need. That space of 20% is where freedom resides. 10. The daily practice that transforms everything. In my family, giving thanks for food is not a formality. It is a conscious practice. Before each meal, we take a brief moment of silence to contemplate the journey of each ingredient to our plate. This practice, which I bring from Japan, completely transforms my relationship with food. When you recognize the value of what you consume, you naturally want to honor it. Buying with awareness, preparing with attention, savoring without hurry. Last week, an elderly neighbor invited me for dinner. She prepared a simple soup with vegetables from her small garden. Before we ate, she thanked not only for the food, but for the privilege of being able to share it. That soup, made with the most basic ingredients, was more nourishing for my soul than any meal in a starred restaurant. If you implement just one idea from this video, let it be this. Pause before each purchase, each meal, each sip. Ask yourself, does this add real value to my life? If the answer is yes, savor without guilt. If it is no, have the courage to let go. 11. The elegance of seasonal planning. For years, I observed my grandmother organize her seasonal menus with the precision of an artist. In the Japanese autumn, she prepared dishes with matsutake mushrooms and purple sweet potato. In winter, it was white daikon radishes and comforting soups. In spring, fresh bamboo shoots became the protagonists. This natural rhythm not only saves money, seasonal foods are always more affordable, but also connects our diet with the cycles of nature. There is deep wisdom in this practice. Last week, I saw a young mother at the farmer's market struggling to find strawberries in the middle of winter. When I gently mentioned that she might try the delicious in-season Asian pears, she seemed confused. But my daughter only eats strawberries. This food inflexibility, so common in our culture, not only harms our budget, but deprives us of the seasonal richness that nature offers. Teaching our children to appreciate what each season brings is one of the most valuable gifts we can give. 12. The transformative power of a carefully curated pantry. When I renovated my kitchen 3 years ago, I dramatically reduced the storage space. Friends thought I had gone crazy. "Where will you store everything?" they asked, perplexed. The truth? I did not need to store everything. My pantry now contains only 27 essential items, carefully selected, that allow me to prepare hundreds of different meals. short-grain Japanese rice in an airtight glass jar, aged rice vinegar, artisanal shoyu sauce, organic miso, dried bonito flakes, nori and kombu seaweed, a few hand-picked condiments. This system not only simplified my shopping and saved money, but also completely eliminated the stress of the daily decision about what to cook. With a solid foundation, any fresh protein or seasonal vegetable transforms into a delicious meal. At Sunday afternoon tea, an architect friend commented on how my kitchen, despite being minimalist, seemed complete. It is because each item was chosen with purpose, I explained. Nothing is here by accident or impulse. Minimalism in the kitchen is the perfect balance between abundance and sufficiency. It is spending less where it does not matter, to invest more where it really makes a difference. It is creating space for the essential to breathe. If this video touched something in you, consider subscribing to the channel and activating notifications. Each week, I share a different aspect of Japanese minimalism, not as a passing trend, but as a path to a more intentional, serene, and deeply satisfying life. Leave your comment if these ideas resonated with you. And if you want a summary of what we discussed today, here it is. Fewer purchases, more flavor, better life. Until next time, sayonara.